Okay, when it's a prayer of forgiveness, asking the Lord to forgive you, you should send that prayer up every day as a prayer, man. And from the minute you open your eyes, you should pray to the Lord to water Yahweh for allowing me to wake up and see the sunrise, man. The water, Father. Forgive me of my sins. Constantly do these things. But you got guys, these the Apostle taught, pseudo-Israelites, Nate and Barack and all them guys, they think this thing is a joke. It ain't gonna be a joke when the Most High start dropping bodies, man.
Yeah, because let's deal with Nate. Now, even Fopi's getting on Nate, you know? They call him a bunch of hypocrites, man. And they used to keep in contact with him. And Nate, man, the Nate Israelites, we call them the come as you are Israelites. You can have dreadlocks, you know.
Yeah, man.
You know, you can be bald headed, huh?
Yeah.
So I mean, the scriptures tell you in Corinthians, you ain't supposed to a man's part of nature for a woman to have long hair.
That's right.
And the man to not have long hair, short hair, man.
That's right.
You know.
You ain't supposed to have no like dreadlocks and all that. That's long.
Yeah, Fopi got
that's
that,
wicked.
Man.
And even guys with ponytails. You ain't supposed. Hey, years ago, a lot of us we used to have the long. We used to do it too. We used to send the long cornrows. Some of us had the long ponytails, but we cut that shit. We cut it. Because the Spirit through Apostle Tahar came out and said, look, man, really you ain't supposed to do that. And then some brothers, it took them a little longer to do it, but eventually, man, we all said, oh man, fuck this shit.
It's vanity.
It's vain. It's vain, okay? Because when you wake up in the morning, you find yourself, because I had long hair, you wake up in the morning to get ready, then you're in the mirror for like 15 minutes, brushing.
Trying to get it just right.
Yeah. Man, you get up in the morning, man, you take the comb, wop, and you out, man.
And you out of there, man.
Your hair stick up, fuck it, man.
So what, you
ain't no
brush?
woman.
Yeah, you get the brush, man, you just brush your shit out. You know how good that feel? And then you out, man. So it's feminine. And then Absalom, even he was wicked.
It shouldn't take you a fucking half an hour to get ready to go outside.
No, man. That's bullshit.
You gotta be like a minute man. You know, they jump into your clothes. Esau had the minute men, man. And they jump into their clothes and they're ready to go, man.
That's right, man. All that feminine vain shit, that's wicked, man. That's wickedness, man. Even Absalom was wicked as hell. But he used to grow his hair. The scripture says he used to poll every year. He polled his hair. That meant cut it.
Cut it. It was 6 pounds in weight.
Well, his hair was the death of him.
His hair was the death of him.
That's what
hair killed his head.
But that's a scripture.
Killed him.
Yeah.
That's right.
But that scripture proves that. Because you got to cut your hair. That proves that men in ancient Israel practice cutting their hair. That's the proof. Absalom.
That's called Poland.
Yeah. You had something?
Now, let me say this before you go into that. Give me, what is that, 2nd Samuel's, 19 and 24?
Oh yeah.
And because Nate, you know, we're getting on Nate again. This hypocritical ass. Down there in Brooklyn, there was one guy that used to be down with One West. And them guys are saying, well, look, you cut your beard, you shave it. And he was saying, well, wait a minute, you saw the video. I don't know if you saw it. But we did a thing on it, man, and we took the clippings, and we said, you lined up, and they got mad. Then they went to Ezekiel, the 5th chapter? Ezekiel, the 5th chapter.
Really got it kind of diamond.
That's how he's going to look when he get a little older.
Hold what is that? Ezekiel 5:1, I believe it is. Start from the top.
Ezekiel chapter 5, verse 1.
So this is what Nate's camp used to justify the fact that they were lined up. But they just told the guy that he was lined up.
Yeah, hypocrites.
Go ahead.
And thou, son of man, take thee a sharp knife, take thee a barber's razor, and cause it to pass upon thine head and upon thy beard.
A barber's razor.
Then take the balances to weigh and divide the hair.
Barbers go back to the angel.
Thou shalt burn with fire a 3rd part in the midst of the city. And when the days of the siege are fulfilled, and thou shalt take a 3rd part and smite about it with a knife, and a 3rd part thou shalt scatter in the wind, and I will draw out a sword after them.
And that's all we need. We can read more, but that's all we need. So they closed the book and said that shows you that the prophets used to trim their hair. So when you trim your hair, do you take part of it and burn it, and the other part you throw it to the wind, and the other part, or another third part, you chop it up with a knife? That's how you groom yourself? It was a prophecy. Now read on. It's going to tell you why that happened.
Verse 3, thou shalt also take thereof a few in number and bind them in thy skirts. Then take of them again and cast them into the midst of the fire and burn them in the fire. For therefore shall a fire come forth into all the house of Israel.
So what does the hair represent? The nation of Israel getting jacked up. That's all. That's why the Lord said that, man. When you go to the law of the Nazarene, number 6. Because you got guys out there like them Benjaminites. They got them dreadlocks and they justify it with the vow of the Nazarene, Numbers the 6th chapter. But the vow of the Nazarene, it says this. It says, do not shave your head, your beard, or nothing, right? And it also says, do not come upon a dead body. Mm-hmm. It also says not to eat grapes, fresh grape or dried grapes, not to drink wine. All right? So there were certain things you had to do.
Yep.
So you got guys in dreadlocks talking about they keeping the vow of the Nazarene, and they go to Passover and they drink the wine.
They drink that wine. Yeah.
Now there's an account of the Apostle Paul that he took the vow of the Nazarene, where he grew his hair like that, and right before the Passover he shaved himself, because that's how you break the vow, so he can get ready for the Passover. Because while he was under the vow of the Nazarene, you cannot drink wine, you cannot eat grapes, you cannot eat raisins. All right?
Yep.
They're part of the Passover, you have to drink the wine.
That's right.
You have to drink that wine.
That's Yahweh's blood.
That's right.
This Numbers 6 and 5. All the days of the vow of the separation, there shall no razor come upon his head, until the days be fulfilled in which he separated himself unto the Lord.
He might separate himself for 6 months. When you read the story of Samson, he was a Nazarene unto death, right? From his birth to his death.
Samson was drinking wine.
And when he broke it, he told the Philistine woman, and he got his hair cut off. Yep. And what happened? The Most High cut his power, man. And then when his hair grew back, the Most High gave him his power back. And he died with the Kemetic people.
That's right. He killed
them Philistines,
them
man.
Egyptians.
We always have problems. We always have problems with them Philistines, man.
Yep.
You know.
Saul was killing them. David was killing the Philistines.
Yeah. And then he referred to them as uncircumcised. They referred to them, the Philistines, as uncircumcised dogs. But yet Shach is saying that they circumcised themselves. If they went to the Egyptian school, when they were about to graduate as grown men, you got to pull your rod out, and the master teacher, he got to circumcise you, man.
Bullshit, man.
That's bullshit. You gonna go to that university, brother? Are you gonna go to Yale? Before you graduate, they're gonna tell you to pull your rod out, and the man gonna sit there and cut around your rod, man. Come on, man.
That's done on the 8th day of your birth, man. 8 days, and when you're still a baby, that's when you're to be circumcised on the 8th day. You know what I mean? That's when it's supposed to already be done. But like we said in the studio before coming down here, you got certain brothers that's learning this truth that's not circumcised. I'm going to say this. Technically, you're supposed to get circumcised, man. You should want to get circumcised. So if you got to get it done, you brothers I'm talking about brothers that follow us or listen to us, you got to try to get circumcised. Now, you got to try to get it done. Now, the Lord understands we in hell, we're not in our captivity, but you should want to be circumcised. The real circumcision is talking about of the heart, meaning of your spirit, meaning you got to come into the truth and follow Yahweh Shai. But technically, physically, you got to get circumcised too. That's of the Lord, man. The scriptures say rehearse the righteous acts. So is that not a rehearsal? So if you brothers ain't circumcised, you better work on trying to get that done. You better work with the Most High looks at that. Well, if that's the case, then brothers say, well, look, man, this is about faith, right? If that's the case, then why we keep the Day of Atonement? Why we keep the Passover? Why we keep the Sabbath? then it leads to a Pandora's box of why we gotta keep the laws, period.
Right.
Which the other niggas, you got niggas that be saying that.
Yeah.
So circumcision is a part of that.
Yeah.
So if it's in your means to do so, pray to it. And if it's not, pray to Yahweh while you have a shot and get circumcised, man.
Yeah, because I mean, if you want to get technical, if you're uncircumcised, you're really not even supposed to eat the Passover.
Yeah, you're not supposed to keep the Passover.
You know?
Well, when we have the Passover, if you ain't circumcised, you ain't gonna eat the Passover. I think everybody that come up in there, they circumcised.
That's right. You can't touch the bless the Torah.
I mean, if you're new, you know, and you deep into it, and you ain't circumcised, you in the process of circumcising yourself, you know, Most High knows your heart.
That's right.
Grace. But technically, man, we can say, look, you can't. Well, they did have a discussion on that in Acts 15 about the circumcision thing, and they said go ahead and let them be uncircumcised.
Yeah, like Titus. Yeah, like Titus. There was a whole big thing about Titus. Timothy getting circumcised. And they said, look, Titus don't got to get circumcised. You know, that was the conclusion. You know what I'm saying? But eventually, through the Spirit, you should want to get circumcised, man.
Yeah, because after that same discussion in Acts 15, the first thing Paul did was when he got with Timothy was he circumcised Timothy.
Yeah.
So if you weren't supposed to get circumcised, why did Paul circumcise Timothy? That was just they gave the Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners, like a guideline of something to follow for now. And then eventually you get deeper into it. You want to get deeper into the law, you know, and do you know, get circumcised and do certain other things.
You should want to.
Yeah.
You should want to be circumcised. And if you have children, or you brothers are in the process of having children, you better make sure that gets done. Try to get it done.
When your son is born, you know, you make it understood to your wife that he got to get circumcised.
That's right. We're Israelites, man. So that's
why you got to get a woman that kind of knows that she's an Israelite. You get a decent woman, you know, get a decent woman and shit. She might say I'm an Israelite and go with that.
Yeah.
But that's a little game and shit, you know.
Yeah.
Don't get these project hoes.
Please don't. And I'm gonna say it again. Realistically, brothers, if possible, try to stay away from the black woman. If you're gonna get a woman, get you a woman from one of them other tribes or something, man. You know what I'm saying? As far as a wife. Now, if you want to get your shit up, get you an Edomite woman.
Oh boy, here we go. Hey,
you can have Edomite.
You can have Edomite women.
That's right.
You ain't supposed to marry them. Just pop them. You can have sex with either. You can get
don't fall in love. But first of all, you ain't supposed to fall in love
with no
woman.
Right.
If you're with a woman, you got family, you've been with her for years. Of course, you're gonna have feelings for her. Of course, you're gonna love her. She's your woman, you know.
Yeah.
But in the kingdom, you gonna have, if you want to die as a woman, you gonna fall in love with all of them.
Yeah, come on, man. Give me a break. But the thing is this, brother. If you go out and have sex with a woman of another nation, a lightning bolt ain't gonna come from the sky and strike you. Don't listen to them other idiots.
We tested theory.
We tested the theory. Okay?
You know?
You can pump an Edomite woman. That's a concubine. That's what that is. That's a concubine to you. A Moabite woman. If some damn fine-ass Moabite woman come and want to give you something.
Let me say something. All them brothers that say that they're against it. We're not telling you guys to go out and just simply looking for an Edomite woman. You know, but all them guys like Yohana, he said don't deal with them You see them fine-ass Edomite women on them movies and TV shows. Let's say he's stuck in a room with a fine-ass Edomite woman. She take her shit off. You got the fish that stockings, the high heels. You think you ain't gonna pop him, man?
Yeah, right.
He'll pop him and say, don't tell nobody.
Yeah, right.
Oh, the Moabite woman, a real
Lucy Lou.
Lucy Lou, look at that.
You come home, she's at your house and she got a necklace there on. You ain't gonna pop her. You ain't gonna pop Lucy Lou, man?
I want to try it, but I just don't want to get caught.
Go ahead.
Well, ain't nobody in the bedroom. First of all, what goes on in a man's house or your bed chambers is your goddamn business. That's another thing. You got these niggas, they worried about who a man got in his bed chambers. Are you a faggot?
Don't have no dude up in there.
Don't have no dude up in there. Of course, well, that's a faggot thing. But it's
no panties on it.
Yeah, don't be doing that. But you know what I'm saying?
Don't have your woman a whip and all that, man.
Nah, man, all that
shit. Got you handcuffed.
Dominatrix.
They don't masochism.
I mean, if you do that, that's you.
That's your business.
Just don't let me know, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't let me know, man.
I concur.
You want to separate companies.
He talks into all that shit anyway, man. First of all, ain't no so-called Israelite men into that. The white man is into that domination shit.
That's right.
But first of all, what I'm saying, as far as your woman go, I don't care if you got an Edomite woman, Israelite woman, Moabite woman up in your bedchambers. That's your business. Only a homosexual worries about what kind of woman another man is dealing with.